What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Big T, right here with all of you guys today, and this is your WWE Monday Night Raw review and results for today, Monday, July 17, 2023. Brock Lesnar destroys Cody Rhodes in front of his family in Cody's hometown in Atlanta, Georgia. We got this and so much more here, guys. Some people are saying Raw was really good. I mean, I'm on the other side of the spectrum. I think there's just some things I don't get, just like why Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes are even fighting. But kick back, relax, we'll hit the introductions, get this party started, and your WWE Monday Night Raw review and result show will be coming your way next. Don't go away, because I will be right back.
This is M-Dog 20, Matt Cross. We're in Cleveland, Ohio, and you are checking out Beyond the Ring with my man, Big T. Thank you, man. Big T.
Hello, this is EC3 of TNA Wrestling, and you are so very fortunate because you are watching Beyond the Ring with Big T.
This is the bad boy Joey Janela, and you're watching Beyond the Ring. Big T.
Alright guys, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the show. Are you ready to get into this? Because if you're ready, let's get this party started. Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm your host, Big T, right here with all of you guys today. And this is your WWE Monday Night Raw review and result show for today, Monday, July 17, 2023. Brock Lesnar destroys Cody Rhodes in front of his family in Cody's hometown in Atlanta, Georgia. We got this and so much more here, guys. Some people are saying Raw was really good. I mean, I'm on the other side of the spectrum. I think there's just some things I don't get, just like why Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes are even fighting. But kick back, relax, we'll hit the introductions, get this party started, and your WWE Monday Night Raw review and result show for today, July 17th, 2023. And I'm your host, Big T, right here with you. Don't forget, you want to check out my website, beyondtheringwithbigT.com. Call into the show live on Skype using BigT_119. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. All the handles are there. So, yeah, guys, hope you're ready to go. And, got a lot of good stuff coming tonight, so we'll get into it, and I'll tell you guys everything you need to know about Monday Night Raw. Alright, so, let's see. First off, guys, we got everything done and ready to go as far as our new looks for the show, so there you go. Hope you guys are enjoying that. We'll have more to unveil for SmackDown and for the, Dynamite, Rampage, Collision you guys already saw. So, all the new looks are coming out right now as we're switching things up. So, big thank you to Mr. Green and VJ's Imaging for making Beyond the Ring with Big T look great for 2023 for the next year ahead. Until we have the next brand extension draft, because WWE will do one next year. Let's see. Darth, Jordan, Hunter, what's up, guys? How you guys doing? Great to have you all here. So let's see what we got for Monday Night Raw. WWE Monday Night Raw review and results for Monday, July 17, 2023. We got a women's tag team title match. We hear from Brock Lesnar and more. So, tonight's WWE Monday Night Raw for Monday, July 17, 2023 is coming to us live from the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. Cody Rhodes called out Brock Lesnar during last week's edition of Raw and challenged him to a rubber match at WWE SummerSlam. Tonight, Brock Lesnar will be making his return to WWE programming with a message of his own for Cody Rhodes. Both men have taken issue with one another over the past several months. Yeah, that's an understatement. It's been since the night after WrestleMania when Brock Lesnar attacked Cody Rhodes and then gave no explanation as to why he did it. But with Cody and Brock both holding a victory over one another, Cody getting his backlash or his victory at Backlash, and Brock Lesnar getting his at Night of Champions, so respectively there. And then Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan will be putting the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships on the line against Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green, which you guys know how I feel about Chelsea Green. Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green secured their spot in the match after beating 4 other teams in a number 1 contenders tag team turmoil match a couple weeks ago and gained some momentum heading into tonight's competition. Last week when they overcame Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. After joining forces with World Heavyweight Champion Seth freaking Rollins and coming up short against the Judgment Day in a 6-man tag team match, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have a shot at redemption as they square off with Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio. It says here in non-title action, which I think was changed to a title match. It was changed to a title match later on in the show. But Dominic, on behalf of his teammates, put the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions on notice via Twitter and made it clear that the Judgment Day was coming for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn's tag team titles. Another non-title match is slated for tonight as Intercontinental Champion Gunther faces former multi-time tag team champion Matt Riddle with Gunther's Imperium teammates Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci, both barred from ringside. The two men have been at odds with one another over the past several weeks, with Riddle and McIntyre scoring a win over Kaiser and Vinci last week. Additionally, the Viking Raiders, Eric and Ivar, are set to take on Alpha Academy's Chad Gable and Otis in a Viking rules match as the two groups look to put their issues to rest. So, that's everything that I guess you could say is a teaser for Monday Night Raw. As far as anything else, you'll find that out as we go along the way here. But, yeah, I mean, you know, we started off with the whole Cody Rhodes Brock Lesnar thing, and this is almost, 4 months in. It's 3.5 months in. And it's like, it's just old. It's old. It's the same old song and dance. They're not really doing anything to change anything up. It's getting boring. It's been boring now for probably, oh my god, I would say, more than a month already? Got some Fiji water here for you guys. Whenever I got it, you guys know what's on the show, but hey, there's a Fiji fact. There's another one, so let's take a look. This one is Fiji water untouched. Fiji water comes from a sustainable ancient aquifer deep within the earth on the islands of Fiji. Bottled at the source, natural pressure forces the water towards a sealed delivery system directly into the bottle, free from human contact until you unscrew the cap, because it is Earth's finest water. So there you go. That's always good. What's up, Casey is Raw? How's it going? Good to have you here. Good to have you here tonight for Monday Night Raw. How's everybody doing? Alright. Cracking open this water. There we go. Where's my cap at? There we go. Had to reach over a little bit to get it. Because I always use my sport cap. If you buy the big Fiji bottles with the sport cap on it, you can screw it onto the smaller ones too, so, it works. It works all the time. It's damn good. So cheers. Alright, folks. So now let's get into the show itself and see what happened. Alright. Let's take a look here. We're live from Atlanta, Georgia tonight. Corey Graves and Kevin Patrick greet audiences at home as Cody Rhodes makes his way down to the ring. Cody Rhodes calls Brock Lesnar out to the ring right now. Let's see. Casey is Raw says, I once called a water company, I once called a water company if it was domestic or foreign water. I told them I don't want any foreign water. Hey, there you go, Ed. So Cody comes down to the ring. Cody Rhodes, he calls out Brock Lesnar. It's like, okay, here we go. Cody's looking for his answer. So Cody, he's like, Atlanta, Georgia, what do you guys want to talk about? Cody says, well, we really don't have to talk, because there's only one shadow looming over every arena WWE goes to. That's Brock Lesnar. Cody says, one thing is for sure is that when Brock Lesnar shows up when he's called to the ring and tells Brock Lesnar he should do just that right now. Brock doesn't appear, and Cody says that Brock is supposed to be here tonight. Cody asks if Brock's plan is to be fashionably late, but Cody says he'll be in the ring waiting for him at no matter what time he shows up. Doesn't matter if he shows up at 9 o'clock, at 10 o'clock, or at the end of the night. It doesn't matter. So Cody gives a shout out to his mother in the front row. And his mother was shown in the front row and says that she was the one who made him into the fighter that he is today. Cody says his relationship with Brock can be summed up in 2 words: hard times. A little throwback to Dusty's Hard Times promo. Cody says it won't be hard times for him when Brock shows up. As Cody goes over to greet his family, Brock's music hits. Cody readies himself to fight Brock, but Brock does not appear. It stops. Cody starts walking up the ramp. Brock's music hits once more. But before Brock even has the chance to appear, Cody just decides to march right onto the back, So Cody goes to the back through the curtain. We can't see what happens, because he's looking to waste no time to fight Brock. Next thing you know, you see a chair come flying out onto the stage, and Brock then appears, and he throws Cody out on the stage, and then Brock gets a chair, picks up the chair that he threw out onto the floor, puts it in his hand. He attacks Cody with it. He hits him with it a few times. Brock then sends Cody into the ring apron and into the ring post, and Brock then delivers an F5 to Cody on the floor, right in front of his family, right in front of his sister Teal, his mother Michelle. His whole family was there. Brock then cinches in the Kimura lock on Cody, but decides to relinquish it, and then Brock tosses Cody back inside the ring. He follows him inside and cinches in the Kimura lock once more before he lets go. He then tells Cody he will see him at SummerSlam. Bitch. And then he heads to the back. Yes, Brock called Cody a bitch. And then he went to the back, and that was it. It's pretty much all we got. I want to try, to get invested in it, really, but it's like, how can you? Just the fact that the way WWE has built this whole thing, they built it with no reason around why Brock attacked Cody in the first place. So you go ahead and do that. Then you put them in 2 lackluster matches against each other already that didn't really move the needle. And then, not only that, you're at nearly 4 months into this feud, and you're doing it again with still no reason as to why they're fighting. And Cody even made reference to it last week. And then you want to take these guys and put them in one more match? To be honest, aren't you guys over this? I'm over it myself. There's really no need. There's just no need for this to keep going. I don't understand why, people feel the need to want to see this again. Brock Lesnar accepts Cody's challenge and will face him again at SummerSlam. So, Brock Lesnar wasted a little time on Monday night giving Cody Rhodes his answer. Unfortunately for Cody, it happened right in front of his mother. A Georgia boy himself, WWE Monday Night Raw kicked off with Cody giving plenty of love to the Atlanta, Georgia faithful, after praising his mother for turning him into the fighter we all see before us. His attention turned to Brock. Once he was done speaking, Brock's music hit, but there was no man to speak of. As Cody made his way up the ramp, the music hit again, and upon going through the curtain, Cody was struck with a steel chair by Brock. Brock then proceeded to beat Cody back down the ramp before delivering an F5 and a Kimura lock to him right in front of his mother, as he locked in the Kimura once more. While they were in the ring, smiling at Cody's mother. That was another thing. Brock looked at Cody's mother and smiled at her, just to really get that heel heat, so he smiled at Cody's mother all the while before accepting Cody's challenge. After tasting defeat at Backlash in May, Brock evened the score via referee stoppage later that month at Night of Champions, and now on August 5th, their feud will be settled once and for all. Before going greatly into that good night, Brock Lesnar had a simple message for Cody: "I'll see you at SummerSlam, bitch." And that was it. I thought this match was supposed to have a stipulation. Right now they have it as listed as a singles match, but that's because they just made the match official tonight. I would say look for this match in the coming weeks to have a stipulation attached to it. I just have a feeling that's a route that they're going to take, so don't be surprised if they actually do take that route and decide that they want to do that. Just to give you guys a warning. So, that's what we have on Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes as far as the segment itself. I mean, like I said, what more could you expect from it? The feud pretty much has been dead for how long now? Brock, he did a great job at doing what he did in the beginning to really get the heel heat up and smile back at Cody's mother, to really play up the fact, of himself being a jerk, to really sell his heel character, so he did good work on that. I can say that much. Did I really care about this? No, considering to how poorly this entire feud has been booked. So, that's what makes me kind of have a lack of interest here, because of how it's booked. I'm sure this is mainly run by Vince McMahon himself, especially with Brock Lesnar's feelings, and wanting Vince McMahon to be the one to, to look after all of his creative stuff. So, don't be surprised if this is something that is like a brainchild of Vince McMahon, because it wouldn't shock me. But, this was the best you were going to get, considering the feud. There's been worse segments, regarding the Cody-Brock Lesnar feud than this. This was one of the better ones, so I could at least give it that and give it a pass when it comes to that, but, otherwise, is there really much to care about? You guys be the judge. Anyway, go to commercial, come back from the commercial break. Matt Riddle heads down to the ring, and Gunther follows. So now we got Gunther versus Matt Riddle in a one-on-one match. It's a non-title match, because we know Gunther's the Intercontinental Champ, but no title on the line here, just a match to kind of settle a feud between these two guys. Non-title match. So the bell rings, both men lock up. Gunther delivers a pair of chops to Riddle in the corner, and then locks in a sleeper. Riddle quickly escapes and looks to lock in an armbar, but Gunther counters into a roll-up as Riddle kicks out and sends Gunther crashing to the outside. He looks to go flying off the steel ring steps, but Gunther catches him in midair with a chop and follows it up with a body slam. We go to commercial, come back from a commercial break. Riddle fires off chops on Gunther as Gunther responds with one of his own. Both men go back and forth as Riddle gains the upper hand and delivers a kick to Gunther's head, and then follows it up with a pair of forearms as he then lands an exploder and a kick to his spine. Gunther fires back with a German suplex and plants Riddle before Riddle lands a pair of ripcord knees and ascends to the top as Riddle looks for the floating bro. But Gunther gets his knees up as he then delivers a drop kick. And the last symphony, Gunther delivers which is a powerbomb into a pin for the 1, 2, 3 and the pin and the win. Your winner is Gunther, who's the Intercontinental Champion but didn't defend his title here. After the match, Gunther hops up on the announce desk and grabs a microphone as Gunther says tonight is the greatest night of the WWE Universe because everyone came to see the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. Gunther says that Riddle is done, and he is done with Matt Riddle, and now he is building a legacy. Gunther says if Drew McIntyre wants to ride his coattails, then Drew is welcome to, but he will eventually fall victim to the ring general, Gunther. I mean, match was what it was. It wasn't bad. You know, I can't say it was a horrible match because it wasn't. You know, it did what it needed to do. Gunther, he did what he needed to do as far as cutting a promo, so gotta give him that. And, yes, I mean, I guess I could say that this was just alright. Nothing spectacular, of course. I mean, it did about all it can do. Anyway, after all this, we then head backstage and we see a confrontation between Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez, which turns physical and results in Raquel Rodriguez suffering an apparent knee injury. And then we go back at ringside and the Judgment Day heads down to the ring. All of the Judgment Day, you know, Damian Priest, Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, and Rhea Ripley. You know, why don't they just start calling Dominic and Rhea Ripley? Why don't they just start calling them Dama Rhea? Get it? Like diarrhea, except Dama Rhea. Because, I mean, I don't know. Just Dominic Mysterio, man. I can't stand this guy. I guess he's doing his job as a heel, though. I'm supposed to hate him. I'm definitely not a fan of him. At all. But, yeah, now we got the Judgment Day. So let's see what we got. So back at ringside, the Judgment Day heads down to the ring. We hear from the Judgment Day. And Rhea Ripley says that the Judgment Day is stronger than ever. And asks if anyone really thought they would break up. Rhea says that now that no one can stop them, not only do they run Raw, but they dominate the show. Rhea says that Raquel Rodriguez found that out earlier and calls herself the most dominant women's champion in history. As she says not only will Finn Balor and Damian Priest become world champions, but Dominic Mysterio will become NXT North American champion tomorrow night on WWE NXT when he beats Wes Lee. So Damian Priest, despite holding the Money in the Bank briefcase, you know, says that Balor gets first crack at Seth freaking Rollins' World Heavyweight Championship. You know, Balor then puts him on notice and tells him that he will dethrone him. So then Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens then make their way down to the ring. Sami says he feels like he has a pretty good relationship with the WWE Universe and knows what they both like and dislike. As like and dislike as he asks Atlanta if they paid to hear Dominic talk and they boo him. He then asks if they paid to see someone beat him up and the crowd cheers. Sami says Atlanta is in luck and so are himself and Kevin Owens. And because they get a chance to get their hands on Dominic later tonight in their tag team match against Dominic and Damian Priest. Damian Priest then challenges Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens to put their undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships on the line. And Sami Zayn asks Kevin Owens for his opinion, and irate Kevin Owens agrees to do so as long as he gets to put his hands on Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio. And that was the end of the segment, so, you know, it was what it was. This was basically a segment it was just to plug NXT, which is what they did, plug NXT. And then also to, you know, just make this a title match, which they did. And, you know, that was that. And now we gotta move on to a match that honestly really fucking sucked. There was nothing good about this match. It was shit. And, Darth, honestly, I don't think you're funny at all. Because Chelsea Green is not my favorite. And the fact that she's a champion is fucking disgusting. And Vince McMahon should be firing her instead of giving her championships. That's what he should be doing. Not this bullshit. So I mean, this isn't even a laughing matter or a funny issue. There's nothing to laugh about here at all. This is disgusting. Alright. So yeah, that segment, I mean, it was okay. It was nothing bad with the whole Judgment Day stuff. It did what it needed to do, but they go from that to a backstage segment. We see Raquel Rodriguez being checked on in the medical offices. Liv Morgan and Adam Pearce, are in there. Raquel Rodriguez insists that she's still fit to compete in the women's tag team title match. And the doctor says that he will give Raquel Rodriguez clearance, even though he wouldn't recommend her to wrestle. Basically she's still good enough to go, which really, is contradicting yourself big time. If you're a WWE medical doctor, why in the fuck are you going to stand there and say, oh, I'll give you clearance to go out there and wrestle, okay, but then what I'm going to recommend is that you maybe, rested for maybe like a week or two or whatever. Then, okay, if that's your recommendation for the wrestler to rest, why are you giving them clearance to go out there and wrestle? I mean, do you guys understand this shit? Who books this shit? Really? This had to be Vince McMahon, because that was a huge logic gap there. Huge. I don't even think these people know what they're doing. It's really aggravating. Extremely, extremely aggravating. Most frustrating thing, And they do shit like that, and then Adam Pearce is like, well, Raquel, you're telling me you're good enough to go, and then he turns to the doctor and he's like, you would give her clearance for tonight, and then doctor shakes his head, yeah. He's like, well, Raquel, I'll let you, compete in the match, because Raquel was all worried. She's like, no, this is how we lost the titles last time. Liv couldn't compete because of an injury and blah, blah, blah. So, this time they wanted to compete, and I'm like, oh, God. So, yeah, they let him compete, and, we go to commercial, come back from the commercial break. Sonya Deville, Chelsea Green head down to the ring. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, they make their way out. And now we got a match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. We got the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan, defending their WWE Women's Tag Team Championships against Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green. So, Liv Morgan and Sonya Deville begin the action. The bell rings. Deville wastes no time. She delivers a kick and tags in Green. Green and Deville deliver a double vertical suplex before Green sends Liv into the middle turnbuckle and tags in Deville. Deville fires off some right hands in the corner, but Morgan fights back and delivers a kick. Raquel then tags in and levels Deville and sends her face first in the corner. She plants it with a fallaway slam as Deville sends her, Rodriguez crashing into the ring post shoulder first. She locks in a half Boston Crab, but Liv breaks the hold as Raquel tags her in. Sonya tags in Chelsea, so you got Morgan catching her with a pair of shoulder tackles and a step-up knee, and then delivers a code breaker off the middle rope and follows it up with the Oblivion. And she goes for a pin. But Deville breaks with that pinfall with the knee, as Deville then pulls Rodriguez off the apron and executes a chop block as she rakes Liv's eyes, allowing Green to hit the Unprettier. And she goes for a pin, but Liv kicks out. Deville tags in. Green hits the second Unprettier as Deville follows it up with a running knee for the 1-2-3 and the pin of the win. And your winners and new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions are Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green. That's just absolutely fucking disgusting shit. And I'm not going to say any more about that. That match was a complete dumpster fire. The wrong team definitely won. The only reason I could give you as to why they did is because they want to use Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan as the next challengers for Rhea Ripley's Women's World Championship. So, instead of having them stay in the tag division, they took the tag titles off of them just so they can, face Rhea Ripley for the World Women's title at, wherever the fuck they want to do this shit at. But the point is, they are going to be challengers, and that's how they're going to do this. And they figured put the titles on Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green and have them, fight other tag teams. I don't know, but it's just a disaster. This made me care about the women's tag titles even less. I didn't think I could care about these horrible championships, horrible championships, any more or any less than I do now. Now I really care about them less. What they need to do is take these titles, throw them in a trash can and burn them. Or take them and throw them on a bonfire on top of a big stack of wood and burn them. That's all these titles are worth. They're worth nothing. So, Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville win the Women's Tag Team Championships on WWE Monday Night Raw. For the second time in 2 weeks, we have new Women's Tag Team Champions. Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green defeated Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez to become the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions on WWE Monday Night Raw tonight. Previously, the same night, Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley attacked Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez in the back during an interview segment, leaving Raquel with an injured knee. That's how the whole knee injury started, because of Rhea Ripley. Rodriguez then told Adam Pearce that she was good to go defend her championships after being evaluated in the back and cleared to wrestle. Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green started the match off hot against Liv Morgan at one point in the match when both women were legal. Sonya Deville got Raquel Rodriguez in a half Boston Crab, further damaging her injured knee eventually after a hot tag on both sides. Liv Morgan had Chelsea Green down for the pin when Sonya Deville cracked Liv Morgan in the face with a running knee to break it up. Sonya Deville then took out Raquel Rodriguez on the outside, targeting her knee, and hit Liv Morgan also from the outside as well, allowing Chelsea Green to hit her unprettier finishing move as Liv Morgan surprisingly kicked out. It ultimately took another unprettier, followed by another knee from Sonya Deville to deliver the title. So Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan just won the women's tag team titles 16 days ago, beating Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler at Money in the Bank on July 1st, after Shayna Baszler turned on her supposed best friend Ronda Rousey. The championships have been ping-ponging around WWE lately, with Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville representing the fifth pair of new champs since Damage Control, who lost the women's tag titles in February. How about that? If that doesn't tell you that these titles are complete garbage, I have no idea what does. Because that should tell you what they need to do here. So yeah, that was horrible. Yeah, so this match was disgusting. Back from go to commercial, come back from the commercial break, we head over to a video package of what happened in the next chapter of the Bloodline Civil War this past Friday night on WWE Friday Night SmackDown. And now we move on to Finn Balor crashes Seth freaking Rollins' sit-down interview with Byron Saxton. Now this was something good. This was something good, and I'll tell you why. This was a Triple H segment. This was booked like an old NXT black and gold sit-down confrontation for an NXT Championship match on the road to an old TakeOver pay-per-view. That's exactly what this was the blueprint of. And Seth Rollins and Finn Balor were two of the biggest faces in the NXT black and gold brand under Triple H when he was running it. So, this is the one part of the show that had Triple H vibes all over it. And it was a great segment. So we then head over to a video of Byron Saxton sitting down with Seth freaking Rollins. Saxton asks Seth what his plans are for defending his World Heavyweight Championship, and Seth says there is no better place for a marquee title match than SummerSlam. Seth says that several men have earned his place, or have earned their place on his short list, including Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, and Gunther. Finn Balor then walks in and takes Byron Saxton's seat before demanding a rematch at SummerSlam. And, Balor says the line starts with him and the issues that he and Seth have are far from over, and he tells him to do what he has to do to make things official. Seth tells Balor that he has to stop living in the past, and Balor says he's living in chaos. Balor promises to get his retribution and do to Seth what Seth did to him. Meaning at SummerSlam 7 years ago, when Seth Rollins separated Finn Balor's shoulder and Finn Balor won the Universal title that night, became the first ever Universal Champion, had to forfeit it the next night because he was out for 8-9 months after that? But, Seth tells Balor that his title is more than his personal vendetta against him, and says they don't need a match to settle the score. Seth says they can deal with things right here, right now, and tells him to either take his shot or leave. Balor stands up and opts to walk away, as Balor suddenly returns and rains down right hands on Seth, and he tells him to make the match official. Great segment. That did what it needed to do. That had Triple H vibes. That is something that you look for and something that you want when you're watching WWE programming. I know at least I do. That's just me. That's the kind of stuff that I like. That's the kind of stuff, that I would get into. But you guys know how it is. Alright. So, Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor for the World Heavyweight title is set for WWE SummerSlam. It is official. At SummerSlam on August 5th, Finn Balor will get another crack at Seth Rollins and his World Heavyweight Championship. Though, getting to this point has been anything but smooth for either superstar. But after another heated confrontation between both men on Monday night on Raw, there was only one way this was ever going to go. Balor's issues with Seth date back nearly 7 years when at SummerSlam, the Demon Finn Balor defeated the visionary Seth Rollins to become the first ever WWE Universal Champion. Unfortunately, Balor's shoulder was seriously injured in the process, and he was forced to relinquish his newly won title the very next night on Raw. I think not only did the shoulder get separated, but I think Balor also had, a torn labrum in his shoulder, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, in recent months, the rivalry between Balor and Seth has been reignited, yet at every turn, Balor has been denied. He could have qualified for the World Heavyweight Championship final against AJ Styles and Night of Champions, but missed out on that spot after losing to Seth, as Balor then looked very much in control during their match at Money in the Bank, only to get distracted by his Judgment Day cohort, Damian Priest, during the closing stages of that match. But after demanding a rematch on Monday night and attacking Seth during a backstage interview afterward, we've got ourselves another match between these two men set for Detroit, Michigan at SummerSlam. So that's where we're at with that, guys. That's where we're at with that. Okay. So let's see what we got next. So far, Raw is just, middle of the road and subpar to me, except for that Balor Seth stuff. That kind of gave it a little extra juice, a little extra shot in the arm of what it needed. So, let's see. What do we got next here? We go back at ringside to Alpha Academy. Eric, Ivar, and Valhalla, they all head down to the ring. Or now, Alpha Academy, Chad Gable, Otis, and Maxine Dupree, they all head down to the ring. Then the Viking Raiders and Valhalla, Eric, Ivar, Valhalla. With Maxine Dupree's stolen Letterman's jacket in hand, they come out. Titus O'Neil joins on commentary. And this leads us to a Viking rules match. The Viking Raiders, Eric and Ivar, with Valhalla in their corner, going up against the Alpha Academy, Chad Gable and Otis, with Maxine Dupree in their corner, in a Viking rules match. Now, this match was kind of fun. Otis tosses Gable over the top rope and onto both Viking Raiders, on the longboat on the outside of the ring. So the bell rings and Ivar sends Otis crashing into the ring post. Eric levels Gable on top of the longboat, but Gable cinches in an ankle lock as he relinquished it and goes flying to level Ivar on the floor, and then sends Eric crashing into one of the shields. Otis calls for a table, and Gable gets it, but Eric blindsides him from behind. Ivar levels Otis with a boot and sandwiches him between himself and the side of the longboat. The Raiders get Gable back in the ring and look to level him, but Otis intervenes and takes out Ivar. We go to commercial. We come back from the commercial break. Eric delivers a knee to Gable's head in the middle of the ring. Ivar then ascends to the top and delivers a moonsault to Otis and pins him, but Gable was flying off the top of the moonsault of his own. To break his fall. He takes out Ivar with a German suplex and goes for a pin of his own, but Eric breaks the fall. Eric and Gable then go back and forth with forearms before Gable gains the uppercut and delivers a kick to Eric's midsection. He looks to run the ropes, but Eric catches him with a vicious right hand. Gable responds with a suplex and ascends to the top, and then delivers a diving headbutt as he goes for a pin, but Valhalla breaks up the pinfall. Maxine Dupree levels Valhalla with a crossbody off the top and takes back her stolen Letterman jacket. Valhalla then, when Maxine Dupree puts her Letterman jacket back on and does the thank you with Chad Gable, Valhalla runs in and spears Maxine Dupree through a table set up in the corner. And Otis then levels both the Viking Raiders and delivers a powerbomb to Eric before delivering the Caterpillar to Ivar as he ascends to the top, but Valhalla clocks him and the Viking Raiders then plant him with a double powerbomb for the 1, 2, 3 and the pin of the win. Your winners are indeed the Viking Raiders in this Viking rules match, getting the win over Alpha Academy. Match was fun. So, was alright. Nothing bad. But, that's what we had there. Now, the next thing we had, this was something bad. This was something really bad. I'll tell you why. Shayna Baszler makes her way down to the ring and Nikki Cross follows. We got Shayna Baszler versus Nikki Cross. This match was 20 seconds and it was an absolute joke. The bell rings, Nikki Cross wastes no time. She rains down right hands on Shayna Baszler, but Shayna Baszler locks in the cure for the clutch. Nikki Cross taps out, and Shayna Baszler gets the win for the win there. So your winner by submission is Shayna Baszler. Really? 20 seconds, that was it? After the match, Ronda Rousey appears in the crowd and asks Shayna Baszler if the front door is working on the indies, or if the front door working on the indies is faster than the back door with her MMA background. Ronda says, she took Shayna. She took her opportunity and a fraction of the time to get to where she is. Ronda then calls Shayna a knockoff version of herself. Shayna tells Ronda it's easy for her to say those things from afar, and says that Ronda knows that she's better in the ring than she is, like everyone else does. Shayna challenges Ronda to meet her in the ring, but Ronda refuses, and Shayna hops the barricade before making her way back up the stairs as security stops her. And Ronda tells Shayna that she will get her booked for SummerSlam. And Ronda then challenges Shayna to a one-on-one match at SummerSlam. So that is what we got here. And Ronda Rousey lays out SummerSlam challenge to Shayna Baszler on WWE Monday Night Raw. Ronda Rousey is done talking and she's ready to settle her differences with Shayna Baszler at SummerSlam after being betrayed at Money in the Bank, following another squash courtesy of Shayna Baszler on WWE Monday Night Raw, this time at the expense of Nikki Cross. The baddest woman on the planet, Ronda Rousey, was on hand to immediately exclaim, and the crowd goes wild. The former friends had a heated exchange with Shayna labeling herself a better Ronda Rousey before demanding they settle their differences right then and there in the middle of the ring in Atlanta, Georgia. Ronda had other ideas, deciding to kick back and relax from her luxury box above in the arena. Shayna wasn't satisfied in the slightest before deciding to hop the barricade, but she was swiftly stopped by security. It was then that Ronda Rousey had an idea, which she decided to dress up as a favor to her old pal. Ronda Rousey then says, "I'm finally going to get you booked on SummerSlam." She says, "You, me, I'll see you in the Motor City, bitch." So yeah, that was that. So we got that match coming at SummerSlam. Is it going to be good or move the needle or anything that we need? Highly doubtful. Very highly doubtful. Alright, guys. So let's see what we got next. We go to commercial, we come back from the commercial break, and The Miz is waiting inside the ring. So The Miz hosts Miz TV with his special guest Becky Lynch and two other surprise guests, which I'm sure you guys can guess who they are: Trish Stratus and Zoe Stark. And this is on Miz TV. So Miz welcomes fans to Miz TV and says that he's back. Miz says he beat Tommaso Ciampa last week in the middle of the ring, and he is a winner. Miz calls himself the biggest star in all of WWE before introducing the man Becky Lynch. Becky makes her way down to the ring, and Miz says it must be nice for Becky to sit next to a winner. Miz asks Becky about her recent losses at WWE Money in the Bank to Trish Stratus and Zoe Stark. Miz asks if Becky lost a step, and Becky becomes irate. Becky tosses their chairs out of the ring and gets in Miz's face and tells him that she's lost titles, but she hasn't lost a step. Becky says that she knows Miz has other guests coming out, and Becky demands that the Miz bring them out right now. The Miz then agrees. He introduces Trish Stratus and Zoe Stark, and Trish Stratus and Zoe Stark appear. Trish still has her face mask on for whatever happened to her nose, blah, blah, blah. Becky demands a one-on-one rematch with Trish, and Trish tells Becky to settle down. Trish says that Becky is acting like her daughter, Rue. She's like, I would think this is Rue in the ring. And Becky tells Trish to keep her daughter's name out of her mouth. Trish asks Becky why she's so obsessed with her, and says she will not fight her again. Trish says that herself and Zoe Stark are done with Becky Lynch. But before they do, she needs one thing. A thank you from Becky. Becky says Trish wants to feel better than everyone, and says Trish hit her when she knew she was at her weakest, because she knew she never stood a chance when she was stronger. Becky says that she's accomplished more than Trish ever has, and then Becky tells Trish to prove that she is as good as her in the ring one-on-one. So Trish agrees to fight Becky, but under a few conditions. Trish says Becky has to face Zoe Stark one-on-one next week on Raw and beat her. And if Becky doesn't beat Zoe Stark, then Becky has to get on her knees and thank Trish. And then also has to tattoo thank you Trish across her chest. Becky agrees to do all the above, so you know what's going to happen. Becky's going to win. Becky's going to get her match at SummerSlam with Trish. And that's that. This was horrible. Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch. Their feud has been horrible. There's been no heat. Trish as a heel is absolutely god-awful. She doesn't work as a heel. This whole thing don't work. This feud is basically channel-changing garbage. I can't wait till it's over with. There's nothing to this, and it just is what it is. It's not good, so complete waste of time here. I really don't care about any of this. They're gonna fight at SummerSlam, good. Hopefully SummerSlam, this will be the end of this crap. Yeah, but, Trish and Zoe Stark blindside Becky Lynch. Becky levels both of them and takes off Trish's protective face mask. And Becky headbutts Trish and then puts on Trish's face mask and headbutts Zoe Stark with it. So Trish got headbutted in the nose with a regular headbutt, but then Becky put the mask on that she took off of Trish and then headbutted Zoe Stark with the mask on after that, so whatever. Shinsuke Nakamura then makes his way down to the ring and Bronson Reed follows. By the way, guys, did you know that Bronson Reed has a new nickname? He's Big Bronson Reed now. Wow. So Shinsuke Nakamura versus Big Bronson Reed. The bell rings, both men lock up. Nakamura delivers a knee, but Reed runs him right over and stomps on his neck. Nakamura responds with a vicious elbow and a running knee, and then delivers a kick to Reed's head and looks for the double knees on the back of his neck. Reed ducks out of the way and delivers a shoulder tackle off the apron as the action spills to the outside. We go to commercial. We come back from the commercial break. Nakamura delivers a series of kicks to Reed's midsection as he follows it up with a dragon screw and goes for a pin, but Reed kicks out. Nakamura locks in a sleeper, but Reed escapes and plants him with a running Death Valley driver as he drags him over to the corner and then ascends to the top. Nakamura rocks Reed with an enziguri and then delivers a knee to his midsection and lands a knee off the middle rope. He sets up for the Kinshasa, but Reed catches him with a crossbody. Tommaso Ciampa then blindsides Reed, beating the crap out of him, causing a disqualification. So your winner as a result of a disqualification is Big Bronson Reed. After the match, frustrated Shinsuke Nakamura being frustrated with Tommaso Ciampa. Nakamura, he Superkicks or kicks. He just kicked Tommaso Ciampa right in the face, and Ciampa was down. Nakamura was pissed. Nakamura got some boos for that, so I don't know what's going on there. But I mean, it's whatever. Disqualification finishes. You guys know I'm not really a big fan of that. But anyway, we go to commercial. We come back from the commercial break. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn head down to the ring as the Judgment Day follows. So now we got a match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. We got Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn defending their undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships against the Judgment Day of Damian Priest and Dirty Dominic Mysterio. With Rhea Ripley in their corner. This is a match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. But before the match can even get started, Seth freaking Rollins appears out of nowhere and blindsides Finn Balor on the outside. Before both men brawl to the back, the bell rings and KO and Sammy follow suit, blindsiding the Judgment Day. Priest manages to eventually gain the upper hand and delivers a vicious right hand to Sammy, and then sends him into the top turnbuckle face first as he fires off stomps on him in the corner and then tags in Dominic. Sammy lands a right hand on Dominic's head and then tags KO in. KO executes a pair of sentons on Dominic and then fires off, stomps on him in the corner as he delivers a corkscrew elbow out of the corner and then tags Sammy back in. Dominic shoves Sammy into the corner and tags in Priest. Priest delivers a right hand and then tags Dominic back in. Sammy catches him with a back body drop, but Dominic rolls out of the ring to regroup. Sammy follows him and sends him into the announce desk face first, and then dumps him back inside the ring. Rhea Ripley gets in his face, allowing Dominic to deliver a baseball dropkick as Priest then chokeslams him onto the apron. We go to commercial and then we come back from the commercial break. Priest fires off right hands on Sammy in the middle of the ring. Priest sends him crashing into the corner, but Sammy manages to make his way over to his corner and tags in KO. KO rains down some right hands and then clotheslines him out of the ring as he delivers a senton to Priest on the outside and then executes a frog splash off the apron on Dominic. KO tosses Priest back inside the ring and then sends him into the ring post shoulder first as he follows it up with a cannonball and looks for the swanton bomb, but Priest gets his knees up. Dominic tags in and delivers a frog splash off the top to KO and then goes for a pin, but Sammy breaks the pinfall as Dominic dumps Sammy out of the ring before KO catches him with a pop-up powerbomb as he goes for a pin, but Priest breaks up the pinfall. Sammy and Priest tag in. Sammy delivers a chop and then follows it up with a tornado DDT and goes for a pin. Priest kicks out. Sammy ascends to the top. Priest catches him with a right hand and then knocks KO off the apron and delivers a spinning kick to his head as he executes a Hurricane Rana and a series of kicks, but Sammy catches him with a big boot. Dominic makes the blind tag and drop kicks Sammy into the ropes and then dials it up for the 619. Sammy delivers a back body drop that sends him crashing to the outside and then goes flying to level him and gets him back inside the ring. Rhea Ripley gets in the referee's face, but Liv Morgan runs down in the ring and attacks her as she fires off right hands that sends her crashing into the barricade and dumps her into the timekeeper's area. Priest looks for a double chokeslam on KO and Sammy, but KO and Sammy escape and KO catches Priest with the stunner. Sami Zayn then, hits the exploder on Dominic in the corner, and that's when all hell broke loose. When Priest came in and looked for the double choke slam, but then that's when KO hit the stunner, and then Sammy then delivered the Helluva kick to Dominic and then Sammy got the 1-2-3 and the pin and the win on Dominic Mysterio. And your winners and still the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions is Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. So, there you go. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are still your undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions. And that's how WWE Monday Night Raw went off the air, folks. It was a good main event. I'll say that much. It was. There was nothing wrong with it. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens retain the undisputed WWE Tag Team titles versus the Judgment Day on Raw. The Judgment Day has been giving undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens grief for weeks But in the main event of WWE Monday Night Raw, and the main event of the evening tonight for WWE Monday Night Raw, a couple of outsiders even up the odds, which in the process helped Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens retain their championships in a battle with Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio. While this was a back-and-forth slugfest from the bell, things heated up before the match even started, as World Heavyweight Champion Seth freaking Rollins appeared from out of nowhere to attack Finn Balor and effectively take him out of the equation. Yet in the closing stages, the numbers were still on the Judgment Day's side when Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley got involved, sending KO into the steel ring steps at ringside. Amidst all of the commotion, Dirty Dom Dom almost managed to steal one by catching Sammy with a roll-up. And when Rhea attempted to get involved again, Liv Morgan suddenly appeared and even up the odds, eventually sending Rhea Ripley over the barricade as payback for essentially costing her and Raquel Rodriguez the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships with a backstage attack earlier that evening. With order restored, Sami Zayn hit Dominic Mysterio with an exploder suplex set up for the Eluva kick, and despite initially being intercepted by Damian Priest, Kevin Owens hit Damian Priest with the stunner as Sami Zayn connected on Dirty Dominic Mysterio with the Eluva kick for the 1-2-3 and the pin in the win to retain the championships to seal the victory. So there you go. And Logan Paul accepts Ricochet's challenge for a match next week on WWE Monday Night Raw. For the third week in a row, Ricochet was given a microphone, and once again he had words for social media megastar Logan Paul. Last Monday on WWE Monday Night Raw, Ricochet and Logan Paul met face-to-face with Logan Paul accusing Ricochet of using him solely to boost his own stock. And after all, Logan Paul had just 3 singles matches in WWE, and they've come against The Miz, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins. Ricochet ultimately got the better of Logan Paul that night, and once again challenged him to come to Raw next week when they visit Tampa Bay, Florida. This time Logan Paul was thrilled to accept, tweeting challenge accepted while mocking his promo and dubbing him Mr. Clean. Issues between these two truly kicked off at the Royal Rumble in January during a memorable viral moment in the Men's Royal Rumble match when Ricochet and Logan Paul flew at each other from opposite sides of the ring. That lingering tension was amplified earlier this month at Money in the Bank when the two men went crashing through 2 tables courtesy of a high-risk Spanish fly. With those moments in the rear view, not to mention Ricochet getting the better of their altercation 1 week ago, it will be interesting to see what these two cook up next week when they meet face-to-face once again. So there should be face-to-face, and then Ricochet and Logan Paul, that should be a SummerSlam match. But, if the match is next week, which is what it sounds like, because it accepts this challenge for a match next week, why would you have the match on Raw next week? It makes no sense. Unless you're going to do something, putting that on SummerSlam again. I don't know what they're doing. I don't. I'm lost. I'm lost with it myself. So, I don't know. And finally, guys, there is one story that I do have here that I could share with you. And I thought it'd be pretty interesting. It's about Bray Wyatt, because everybody's wondering about Bray Wyatt. We got a backstage update on some stuff here on reported WWE plans for a new Wyatt family. So backstage update on WWE plans, or backstage update on reported WWE plans for a new Wyatt family. Let's take a look here and see what we got. Alright, before Bray Wyatt was pulled from WWE television due to an undisclosed illness, a number of cryptic hints pointed at Bray Wyatt wrangling a motley crew of puppets come to life. They even appeared during Wyatt's Pitch Black match against LA Knight in January's Royal Rumble. Now, we know that the idea dates back to 2019, and that we were close to having a new Wyatt family in 2023. According to Fightful Select, Paul Heyman pitched the idea of wrestlers such as Eric Young and Mike Bennett appearing as Firefly Funhouse side characters in 2019, before both men were released in 2020. Bray Wyatt's own release would later follow. There is no word on who Eric Young would have portrayed, but Mike Bennett supposedly would have played Sister Abigail. Wyatt himself was initially supposed to be possessed by the spirit of Sister Abigail during his 2017 feud with Finn Balor, which was also cut short due to illness when Bray Wyatt got the mumps. Obviously, the initial Paul Heyman pitch was shot down, but after Bray Wyatt returned to the WWE in 2022 at Extreme Rules, the idea got much closer to being fully realized. WWE had reportedly locked in plans for Eric Young, who re-signed with the WWE in November, but did not receive any creative plans to join Bray Wyatt after WrestleMania. However, Bray Wyatt's illness threw a wrench in the gears of that, and, Bray Wyatt has still yet to be cleared, and Eric Young ended up requesting his release and leaving the WWE again in April, just a couple days ago. Leaving WWE again in April? I thought he just left now in July. Are we just finding out about this now? Maybe around the time his new character was to debut, citing an unwillingness to work with Vince McMahon in the wake of WWE's merger with the UFC. Fightful also confirms that Alexa Bliss was pitched to rejoin Bray Wyatt as well, which was fairly obvious from her booking back in January, but her involvement was also put on hold by her pregnancy and subsequent maternity leave. So, yeah, there you go, guys. That's everything. It's a little crazy, ain't it? There's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff that goes into this. The whole Wyatt thing never materialized because of his own health and, everything else. So, yeah, it just all kind of went awry. And, this is what we're left with now. But you guys can see if you agree with this list. I'll let you guys know what I think, but Wrestling Inc. has been doing something new here. After every Raw and SmackDown show, and I think even with Dynamite shows and Collision shows, it's 3 things we hated and 3 things we loved. WWE Monday Night Raw, July 17th, 2023. 3 things we hated and 3 things we loved. So, let's give this a shot. And this is Wrestling Inc.'s analysis and review of WWE Monday Night Raw, the show that continues to be 3 hours long for reasons that still have not been explained, even though it happened in 2012. It was a pretty action-packed 3 hours, we have to say, with a couple of really excellent tag team matches, a ton of story advancement, several good promos, and a surprising title change. Oh, and Cody Rhodes showed up in his hometown of Atlanta, Georgia, entirely so he could get his ass kicked in front of his mom. That also happened. So, as always, you can find the cold hard facts of the show via our live coverage. If this kind of subjective opinion-based content is not for you, for those who enjoy our takes, we have more coming at you hot and fresh as we present 3 things we hated and 3 things we loved about the July 17th, 2023 episode of WWE Monday Night Raw. So this is according to Wrestling Inc. here, and you guys take this facts as you will. I figured, you know what, why not do this? Since they started doing it, I might as well read about it, and then you guys can give your own opinions on it and think of it what you will. So, let's start off here. This is one thing that Wrestling Inc. hated about Monday Night Raw. It says here, the Brockman's music only plays twice. The third installment in the Cody Rhodes-Brock Lesnar feud has been largely unremarkable to this point. Not because anyone in particular has put on a poor performance, but just because there hasn't seemed to be much point to it. Isn't that the exact point that I gave earlier, before even getting into this? They have fought twice. They are 1-1 against each other. They're tied at 1 win apiece. A rubber match is the most obvious thing in the world, so why bother with much of a build? Just announce the thing. Or if you have to, have Cody Rhodes challenge Brock Lesnar, have Brock Lesnar accept it, and there you go. The problem, of course, is that Brock Lesnar is not going to show up on every episode of Raw, and there was a lot of time to fill between Night of Champions and SummerSlam, not all of which could be taken up by Cody's brief Dominic Mysterio detour, that mini feud. And so we've gotten this feud, which has essentially consisted of Cody Rhodes challenging Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar showing up every once in a while to brawl about it without actually accepting the challenge. Now, Brock Lesnar did finally accept the challenge tonight, but only after yet another only after another Cody Rhodes promo, in which Cody brought his mom into the equation, who was in attendance in their hometown of Atlanta, Georgia. Everything about this just screams artificially drawn out, from the teases of Brock Lesnar's music to the fact that he apparently again injured Cody's arm with the Kimura lock, because God forbid Cody goes into a match without some kind of disadvantage. I hope they're not going to do that, now that I'm reading it this way. The problem here, of course, is that there is just nothing here for Cody to sink his teeth into as a storyteller. Brock Lesnar has no connections to the Rhodes family. They have no prior history before this year. It is just a feud that is happening because it is happening. And while that works the first time, you need to add more meat to that bone if you want to stretch it out into 3 matches over 3 months. Much the same way we felt about the Cody-Dominic feud. You can only do so many segments where Cody comes out and talks into a microphone before we start getting bored. And in this case, they apparently decided to just do the broken arm thing again because everyone loves it when Cody fights hurt. We are beyond ready for the blow-off to this. Unfortunately, there are 2 more Raws between now and SummerSlam, and assuming the Brock Lesnar appearances are done for now, we're not terribly interested in whatever Cody wants to talk about. Now, this next thing is something that Wrestling Inc. loved. Setting up SummerSlam matches. Promos setting up SummerSlam matches. Gunther versus Matt Riddle was certainly a match that had Matt Riddle in it, but the post-match promo from Gunther was the highlight of the segment. That dude is really good on the microphone, and he actually looks even stronger standing there, doing his thing without Imperium. He did not do a lot to advance his feud with Drew McIntyre. The setup last week with Drew McIntyre was warning Matt Riddle that he will not be around this week. Never really paid off, as Gunther easily beat Riddle on his own again, but the promo was perfectly delivered and actually succeeded in making us want to see someone beat him, which isn't normally how we feel about the ring in general. Similarly, Shayna Baszler's match with Nikki Cross was an extremely brief squash match, similar to her victory over Emma. Seriously, WWE, you might want to start using some of these women as more than just, canon, just fillers, basically. They are, because they are extremely talented, but she had another fantastic promo exchange with Ronda Rousey to set up their SummerSlam match, with Ronda actually managing to come up with a halfway decent, rational for why her journey to WWE was actually harder than Shayna Baszler's. I mean, we're not buying it because it's objectively not true, but it was superficially well-reasoned. We're looking forward to that match and very much hoping that Ronda goes out on her back and is never seen in WWE again. Finally, we had a missed TV confrontation between Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus, in which Becky was good and Trish was, they say Trish was better. No, I don't think so. We had, let's say, complex feelings about Trish getting down on her knees to demonstrate how she wanted Becky to thank her, which was eerily reminiscent of her infamous Bark Like a Dog segment with Vince McMahon. But everyone in this storyline continues to do great work, and contrary to our Ronda Rousey feelings, we seriously hope heel Trish never goes away again, because she's better at this than most people in wrestling. That one I strongly disagree with. God. Good promos this week. Even Ricochet got the mic again and continues to demonstrate his improvement, which is progress, which Ricochet has been doing a great job on the microphone for sure. So love to see that. Here's one thing that Wrestling Inc. hated, which is the second thing they hated. Whatever is going on in the singles undercard. So let's see what they have to say here. We might be officially done waiting for Johnny Gargano to arrive, at least for a while, as Tommaso Ciampa got involved with Bronson Reed and Shinsuke Nakamura this week after attacking Reed to get revenge before getting kicked in the head by Nakamura and handing Reed the disqualification win in their singles match, despite the fact that we, like all the performers involved here, there was really nothing about this that felt special or even terribly important. And that is just the case for this Raw singles undercard for a while now. They are all just kind of in spin cycle mode, going around and around with each other until one of them gets plucked out for a more important feud. And we hate seeing Ciampa get added to that Morris. There's still some time for that to change. Nakamura could be teasing some kind of heel turn again, which we're not sure would be a good thing, but it would at least be something. And as long as we're being optimistic, maybe Johnny Gargano comes back and he and Tommaso Ciampa feud with Bronson Reed and Nakamura, in a tag team feud. I don't want Nakamura being heel again, to be honest with you, I just don't. They say, okay, that might be a stretch, but we don't have very many ideas, and neither does WWE. This isn't just a Raw problem. SmackDown has similar issues that we talk about pretty much every week. They have to get better at telling actual stories for these guys who are not even at the level while they're feuding for the mid-card titles, because all three of these performers and many others on WWE's talent roster are way too good to be in this position. Come back soon, Johnny Gargano. We believe in you. Alright. The second thing that Wrestling Inc. loved about Raw, basically everything the Judgment Day is doing. The Judgment Day all being on the same page again is inherently interesting, or inherently less interesting than the Judgment Day in turmoil. But we can't complain too much. For one thing, Balor's obsession with Seth freaking Rollins is taking him to new heights as a character and performer. Their backstage segment was far and away the best thing they have done together during this feud. I said that myself. And unlike Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar, we almost wish there was more than 2 Raws left before SummerSlam so we could get them in a room together to stare intensely at each other a couple more times. Their Money in the Bank match was undeniably a letdown, but hopefully that was just a product of the focus being on Damian Priest and the drama, after his Money in the Bank win. With enough time, Seth Rollins and Finn Balor can and ought to put on a classic, even if once again in the unevenable position of hoping Balor wins. Yeah, the inevitable position of hoping Balor wins. Alright. Meanwhile, Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio talked themselves into a tag team title match against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, which main evented the show, and delivered in exactly the same way that last week's six-man tag didn't. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are such a well-oiled machine right now. It is actually kind of scary how synchronized they are and how seamlessly they work as a unit. The final spot of the match was a perfect example of this, with Kevin Owens hitting a stunner on Damian Priest in the middle of the ring and Sami Zayn not even waiting until Kevin Owens is out of the way before beginning his run across the ring to deliver the haluva kick to Dominic Mysterio. They are on another level, and it would be really nice if WWE gave them some kind of feud or extended storyline, given that they are out here main eventing Raw more often than not. If this Judgment Day thing has some legs on it, that's great. But the fact that they've already beaten Judgment Day with the titles on the line suggests that it is not. Is WWE really going to leave Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens off at SummerSlam? What an absolute crime that would be. I agree with that. They should be on it. But yeah, a lot of Judgment Day drama seems to be gone now. And then, of course, there's Rhea Ripley, who ultimately didn't do her stablemates any favors by getting herself involved into a different feud. Which, we know that to be a fact. But, alright, so we got a couple more things here. Let's talk about it. Here's one thing that Wrestling Inc. hated. They say, we would actually like to speak to the manager. I hated this too, so I'm glad they're on the same boat as this. In a vacuum, well, they say they're fine with Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green as women's tag team champions, but really, they say they're thrilled about it, but they hate the fact that they got, the way it got there. I just hate the fact that they're champions, period, because Chelsea Green shouldn't hold the title. But this is what Wrestling Inc. had to say, so listen to this disgusting stuff right here at the top. In a vacuum, we're fine with the idea of Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green as the women's tag team champions. Actually, more than fine. We're thrilled. They're an incredibly entertaining act. Get this. Chelsea Green deserves every bit of the push she's gotten since coming back. Really? That's bullshit. And it's about damn time that Sonya Deville won a championship at WWE after 8 years with the company. It also has some narrative logic behind it, as they're building to Raquel Rodriguez versus Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam, so it makes sense for Rhea Ripley to injure Raquel Rodriguez in a backstage segment and cost her the tag team titles as part of the transition into a singles program. The match also did a good job of making Liv Morgan look hard to kill, and she got to come out during the main event to neutralize Rhea Ripley, so hopefully she also gets back into singles action, because she is way too big of a star for the women's tag team division. But therein lies the problem. The women's tag team division is deservedly a laughingstock right now. This is the 5th time that the women's tag team titles has changed hands since Damage Control lost the titles back in February. That is 5 new sets of champions in less than 5 months, with the longest reign during that time period lasting 42 days. Poor Raquel Rodriguez is a 5-time tag team champion. Now, if you include the now defunct NXT women's tag team titles, and her 5 reigns have lasted a combined 74 days, with this most recent 17-day reign going down as her second longest ever. It is fine if WWE views Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez as single stars, but if that's the case, why give them the titles back in the first place? And where do Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green go from here? They earned their tag team title shot by running a full gauntlet of just about every women's tag team WWE has, and some say they don't. Now they're champions, so what's next? A feud with Kaden Carter and Katana Chance is probably in order, but beyond that, the division remains a total wasteland. Again, we like the move taken on its own merits, but for the sake of the championship, Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green had better have a long reign, and they had better defeat some meaningful competition along the way, otherwise we might as well have another 24/7 title situation on our hands. I hope they have a shit reign. I hope they lose it faster than they fucking got the titles. If you want my honest opinion, they don't deserve them. So that was the third thing Wrestling Inc. hated. Now the third thing that Wrestling Inc. loved, let's talk about this one. Tag team fucking wrestling, they say. It might be about time for us to look around the landscape and just be thankful for all the amazing tag team wrestling we've been getting lately. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens main eventing WrestleMania against the Usos. They main evented Night of Champions against Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. Then Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa had an absolutely incredible tag team main event against the Usos at Money in the Bank. While over in AEW, FTR and Bullet Club Gold had a match that some people are calling the greatest American tag team match ever to be broadcast on television. It's been a really, really good year for tag team wrestling so far. And that continued Monday night, not just in the tag team championship match main event, but in the Viking Rules match between the Viking Raiders and the Alpha Academy, which was almost certainly the best match of this week's Raw. The two teams have incredible chemistry and are perfect opponents for each other. Chad Gable and Ivar are complementary opposites, and the match was built around a series of spots that slowly but steadily escalated in scale. The dramatic heart of the contest was once again Maxine Dupree, who finally got to put on her leather jacket right before being driven through a table. But the most impressive participant was Otis, who got a lengthy spotlight when he took on both members of the Viking Raiders once and nearly beat them himself. And that man has some serious athletic gifts and a natural connection with the crowd, and he's only 31 years old. There's a world where he becomes a major WWE star, though time will tell if it is this one. We can see why some people might be upset about the Viking Raiders getting the win with the audience so completely behind the Alpha Academy, but they really needed it. This was only their second win in 4 months, both against the Alpha Academy. The Viking Raiders have been largely mishandled on the main roster, and them winning this feud, assuming that it is over, which feels safe, could and should be the beginning of something bigger. We would absolutely love a program between the Viking Raiders and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. And that's it, guys. That's all the stuff they got. So, that's everything. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Made it through another episode here. And, yeah, there was like 3 bad things on Raw that I talked about. The rest was pretty much me, it was okay to good. Only like 3 things were really, really bad on the show. Honestly, I don't know what to rate it. I'm very confused. Honestly, didn't really care much about the show, but then when I look back at it, a lot of it wasn't that bad, except for like 3 things that were really, really bad. And the rest was good, but I don't know, guys. I, just wasn't feeling it, I don't know, nothing that's been really going on with, just wrestling as a whole have I really been feeling it, Definitely love it, but it's not my greatest love in the world, but because there are more important things than wrestling, but I don't know, it just hasn't been, really getting me like it would, but I guess I'll just say WWE Monday Night Raw for Monday, July 17th, 2023. I'll go ahead and give the show a 8 out of 10. I'll just say 8 out of 10. It was good. It wasn't great. There were a few bad things, and it just was what it was. So, there you go. 8 out of 10. And there you go, guys. So, I hope you enjoyed the show. I also hope that you enjoyed the new look of the show. Again, another big thank you to Mr. Green of AJ's Imaging for making Beyond the Ring with Big T look great here on the new layout, so that was awesome. And yeah, guys, so 8 out of 10 tonight for Raw for Monday, July 17th, 2023, and I'm gonna get on out of here. So I will see you guys next time. And yes, there will be a next time for me right here on Beyond the Ring with Big T. That'll be for your AEW Dynamite coverage on Wednesday. If I could get in a collision review tomorrow on my day off, I might, but I don't know. Like I said, just haven't really been feeling that up to anything, but we'll see. So yeah, AEW Dynamite coverage on Wednesday. Don't forget us and we won't forget you. Then, of course, if you want the best, and yes, I do mean the absolute best for all of your professional wrestling needs, right here on the internet, right here on YouTube.com today. Always remember to think Beyond the Ring with Big T. And then, of course, everybody, thank you very much for watching and listening to your WWE Monday Night Raw review and results show for, today, Monday, July 17th. 2023. And we'll see what happens as we get closer to SummerSlam. We'll see what happens. I don't know if the show's going to get any better or worse, and if this is where it's at. But I mean, you could clearly tell what segments are written by Vince McMahon when you look at Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar compared to Finn Balor and Seth Rollins. That was a Triple H segment, Finn Balor and Seth Rollins. Obviously. I mean, it definitely was, you can tell. But anyway, yeah, guys, so I hope you enjoyed the show. I really do. And, keep on sticking with me. You guys know I'll be here when I can. And, alright, let's see, what else do I got? Well, I got a little bit of Fiji left, so might as well finish this off and give you guys one last cheers, right? Might as well. Alright, guys, so thanks again. That's much appreciated. And before we head on out of here for the final time, cheers to you. Here we go. Bottoms up, everybody. Good stuff, you guys. I know you guys are waiting for it, so I'll just go ahead and give it to you. That Fiji water, that's such good shit, pal. In the words of Vince McMahon, so there you go, I gave it to you. But yeah, everybody, of course, thank you very much for watching and listening to your WWE Monday Night Raw review and results show for today, Monday, July 17, 2023. And, thank you, WWE, for a decent show tonight, but you guys got to step it up and get better going into SummerSlam. And, let's hope we get something better at least. Because going into SummerSlam, you definitely want your best foot forward. That's a huge thing right there, that you want your best foot forward for that. And, and then, of course, everybody, as always, always remember and never ever forget that I'm your host, Big T, and then I'll see all of you at the matches. And I'll see all of you for your AEW Dynamite coverage on Wednesday night. And we'll see if I can do anything for, a catch-up on the Collision show tomorrow. I don't know, we'll see, but, yeah. We'll just see if I can make it there or not, but Anyway, guys, as I said, I'm your host, Big T. I'll see all of you at the matches, and take care, everybody. I love you all. And of course, good night, everybody. Ha 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 ha.
This is M-Dog 20, Matt Cross. We're in Cleveland, Ohio, and you were checking out Beyond the Ring with my man, Big T. Thank you, man. Big T.
Hello, this is EC3 of TNA Wrestling, and you are so very fortunate because you are watching Beyond the Ring with Big T.
This is the bad boy Joey Janela, and you're watching Beyond the Ring. Big T.
And of course, guys, don't forget, use that hashtag Justice for Pretty and donate to the show on PayPal. All the links are down below. So, just wanted to remind you that before I head out. But take care, everybody. I love you all, and I'll see you soon. And of course, good night, everybody.